Henderson.
Yes.
And I was happy as well. It was virtually good. I'm impressed. Numbers don't impress me.
Yes.
Y'all ready for me tonight?
Oh, yes.
Numbers don't impress me.
Amen.
And I'll tell you why numbers don't impress me. When Jesus got ready to go to the Mount of Transfiguration, he took 3 disciples. He took Peter, James, and John with him.
Yes, sir.
Apostle.
Yes, sir.
And he left the other 9 disciples at the foot of the mountain.
Yes. Yes, he did.
With the multitude. I'm going to say that. That needs to be said. He left the other 9 disciples
With the multitude.
at the foot of the mountain with the multitude. Sometimes we think because there is a multitude of people that something wonderful is going on. That's an error. That's a real bad error. Because we think that because there are great numbers, that means that this is where God is. Well, Jesus had just taken Peter, James, and John, just 3. Matthew chapter 17. He took them up into the mountain. And in the Mount of Transfiguration, he was transfigured there with them. One of the greatest revelations of the Bible. I'm going to take my time. I ain't in a hurry. Hello, somebody.
Amen.
I came to feed you. Whoever's here tonight, we didn't get fed.
Amen.
Is that all right? And woman of God, I came to minister to you. I came to minister to you and Apostle Brown, because let me tell you something. This is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with, we have to contend with. It's ministry. That's what it is, Apostle. So watch that. Let me finish my where I'm going with it. Jesus goes to the Mount of Transfiguration. He chooses 3. Peter, James, and John said, y'all come up here with me. One of the greatest miracles the Bible records. Peter talked about it in 2 Peter 1:16 through 21. Go over there real quick. Now, this is Peter giving his account. I'm gonna seem like I'm all over the place, but I ain't. Trust me. I got some order with where I'm going, but I want you to get something. 2 Peter 1:16, and I need somebody to begin reading at verse 16 for me. What does it say? 1 Peter 1:16. Hallelujah.
2 Peter 1:16. For we have not
fallen. Now, Peter is about to give the account, Apostle Henderson, of what just had taken place, what had happened in the mount with him and Jesus and James and John. So Peter said, we have what?
We have not followed.
We have not followed cunningly devised fables. He said, this ain't no fairy tale.
Right.
This ain't no fable. This ain't no story. This ain't something we threw together. You know, this ain't no figment of nobody's imagination. Is anybody with me? Peter said, this ain't no carefully crafted story. It ain't no carefully crafted fairy tale. This is not Aesop's fables. We have not followed cunningly devised fables when we made known unto you the power and the coming
of our Lord.
So he said, this is not a story. This is not a fairy tale. And we wasn't following something that was thrown together craftily and cunningly. When we told you about, when we made known his power and his coming. And no story. This ain't no fairy tale. This ain't no fable. This is real, Peter said. He says what?
We're eyewitnesses.
For we were eyewitnesses of his majesty. Can you imagine being an eyewitness? When you're an eyewitness, you can testify, can't you?
Amen.
Man, we just saw it. That fella shot that boy down there in South Carolina. He shot him. He didn't know somebody was an eyewitness. Man, he didn't realize that somebody was right there filming what he did. Eyewitness. So when you're an eyewitness, you're an expert testimony. Your testimony is invaluable. So he says, we were eyewitnesses of his majesty. I want you to keep that in mind. And when we saw his majesty with our own eyes. For he,
talking about Christ, received from God.
He received from God the Father
honor and glory. when there came
such a voice from the excellent glory.
From the excellent glory. There is my beloved.
This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. So he's talking about the Mount of Transfiguration. We were there with him when there came a voice from the excellent glory. This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. Then he says, and which voice?
And which voice which came from heaven we heard.
We heard it. Wait a minute. So not only are we eyewitnesses, we ear witnesses.
Wow.
We eyewitnesses and we're ear witnesses too. We heard the voice of God validate who Jesus was. Come on.
And the voice which came from heaven
we heard
when we were with him in the holy mountain. We have also
a more sure word of prophecy. Stop right there. How in the world can you get anything more sure than what you saw and what you heard?
Yes.
He says we have also a more sure word of prophecy, indicating, Apostle, that what we have received by the Spirit, what we have received by revelation, what we have received in the prophetic is more sure than what we saw and what we heard.
Wow.
Wow. We always put so much stock on eye witness and ear witness, but he said we have also a more sure word of the Holy Ghost.
Yes,
we have also a more sure word. See, when you get a word, a sure word of prophecy, when you get a sure prophetic word, God tell you, when you get a sure prophetic revelation of where you are, who you are, where you going, what you got to deal with, when you get a sure word, he said we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereby you do well if you take heed as unto a light that shineth in a dark place.
Wow.
Until the day dawn and the day star arise in your heart.
Yes.
Now he's talking about revelation, a light shining in dark place. Yeah, this dark place where the light is shining is need to be in me. It's in you. There's a dark place in us where the light needs to shine.
Yes, come on.
Wow.
There's a light place in us there's a dark place in us where the light needs to shine. In other words, there's something in us that we ain't seen yet.
Yes.
There's something in us that needs to yet be made known. And when the light of God or the revelation of God reach that place, shine in that area where there was darkness, and we see by the Spirit, and we see by revelation, and we see into the real prophetic, then that means that it's more sure than anything we saw with our natural eyes or our natural hearing. Wow. Somebody say that. That's what I want God to do tonight. I want him to give us a sure word.
Thank you, Lord.
A sure word. Whereby you do well if you take heed as into a light that shineth in the dark place until the day dawn and the day star rise in your heart. Then he says, knowing this verse.
Look at here.
Knowing this verse.
No
prophecy of the
scripture is of any private.
No prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation. Neither came the prophecy of old time by the will of man.
That's it.
So you know what? We ain't gonna come with no private revelation. We ain't coming with a revelation that you can't understand.
Right.
We ain't coming with something that everybody can't receive.
Yeah.
Hello, it ain't gonna be so far out in the deep end, we ain't gonna drown you. It ain't gonna be that crazy. Because there is no prophecy of the scripture of any private interpretation. We ain't got no private knowledge of Jesus that ain't nobody got. We can't say, come over here, he's here. Come over there, he's there. Go over here, go over there. No, we ain't coming with no private revelation. There ain't nobody got. He said, but we have also, he says, let me back up, read that for me again, for the prophecy came down of old time by the will of man. But holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
Peter said, let me just inform you. Let me just tell you.
Yes.
That where we are now is greater than where we was in the mountain.
Wow. Yes.
In the mountain we saw it and heard it. But where we are now is more sure than the mountain. Now watch this, and what I started to say was this. Prophet Deborah, sometimes there's a place where God can't take everybody to. He can't take everybody to this place. When he chose Peter, James, and John to go here, he couldn't take everybody there.
Yes.
He left the other 9 disciples at the foot of the mountain. Guess what they were doing at the foot of the mountain, Apostle? While Jesus and Peter, James, and John, the most marvelous revelation the Bible records. And I got a whole lot of stuff I can say about that, but I won't do it. They were at the foot of the mountain trying to cast the devil out of boy. Because somewhere in our mind we think because we were the multitudes of, that there's something going on.
Yes.
But no power at the foot of the mountain.
Wow.
Nothing was going on there. Folk in their mind, they want to be at the foot of the mountain with the multitude.
Wow. Yes.
They think that that's where something is happening. But there's more happening here than the foot of the mountain, I assure you.
Yes.
Somebody say amen.
Amen.
And those of us who have chosen to be here, then we're going to be exposed to whatever it is that God got for us.
Yes.
Now watch this. They're at the foot of the mountain, and the 9 disciples. Before they left the mountain, Jesus said this. If you read it in Matthew 17, he said, "Tell the vision to no man."
That's right.
He said, "Don't tell nobody what happened up here until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead." Remember that? He said, "Wait till I get up, then tell them." That means that don't even tell your other 9 brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't even tell them 9 that we left at the foot of the mountain. I chose you 3 specifically to come up here with me because those other 9, they can't handle this right now. And so don't even tell them. So they down at the foot of the mountain. "Come out here, you devil, loose here. I bind you," and ain't nothing happening. Somebody say amen.
Yes, Lord.
Don't get your mind blown by the multitude. Don't get your mind blown by what's going on at the foot of the mountain, because the foot of the mountain that ain't what God wants us to be. He wants to take us to an elevated place. Can you say amen?
Amen.
Hallelujah. Put those hands together and praise God. Tell the Lord, thank you again.
Thank you, Lord.
This morning in prayer, the Lord dealt with me. Say amen.
Amen.
And my prayer life is because I have a relationship with God.
Yes.
Somebody said relationship.
Relationship.
Anyone who's praying and fasting or whatever out of religious duty is really doing it for the wrong reason.
Amen.
Religious duty is not enough. I want to say it again.
Amen. Amen.
I would not, I'm recently married. I got a beautiful wife whom I love dearly. But I promise you this. I promise you I do not want her doing anything for me because it's her duty.
Yes.
That's right. I won't say it again.
Yes.
I do not want her doing anything for me because it's her duty.
Yes.
I'm doing this out of duty. No, you can keep it. Hello.
Amen.
You ain't got to do it if it's just your duty. In other words, I want her, whatever it is that she do towards me, to do that because she loves me.
Amen.
Right.
Hello, somebody.
Yes.
And I believe that if I'm that way, God is even more so.
Oh, yes.
Why would he want us praying out of duty?
Wow. That's good.
Giving out of duty. Fasting out of duty. Everything I do for God has to be motivated by my love for him.
Yes.
I want to be in his will. I want to be in the right place with him. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
So God started dealing with me this morning in my prayer time about the service tonight and tomorrow night. And one of the things that he said to me was to deal with offenses. Go with me to Matthew 26 and 31. When you get it, say amen. Matthew 26 and 31. Matthew 26 and 31. When you got to say amen.
Amen.
Then said Jesus unto them. Listen to Jesus. This is powerful. This is really powerful. This ain't going to make you shout. This ain't going to be no shouter. Amen. But it's going to turn the light on. Then said Jesus unto them, and the occasion of this is that he is getting ready to go to the cross. This is the last meeting that he had with his disciples. Last gathering that he had with them. And he said something to them real strange this night at the dinner table.
Yes.
He said, all ye, with no exceptions, all inclusive, all ye shall be offended because of me this night. See, all of y'all gonna be offended. Let me tell you something. I learned that no matter how close people are to you, they are going to at some point be tempted to be offended.
Yes.
Jesus said all of y'all. Even John, who was his beloved disciple, who was in his bosom,
yes,
at the dinner table.
Yes.
Come on, somebody.
Yes.
Yeah. He said, all ye shall be offended. Now, what is offended? Actually, two words. The word offended is translated into English from the original Greek, Apostle Brown, from the word scandalon. Scandalon is a noun, person, place, or thing. And then the word offended is also translated scandalizo, which is a verb, which is the act of being, of causing offense or being offended. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
We are conditioned for this stuff now.
Yes.
Yeah, reality TV, and there's a program called Scandal. Scandal. And you got folks home from church to watch Scandal.
Wow.
Man, they got to see Scandal. They don't care what's going on.
Yes.
Here's a woman that's cheating with the president. Hello.
Yeah.
Don't let me talk like I want to talk.
Yeah.
She getting down with the president of the United States of America. Hello. But they need her every time something happened. They go get her because she know how to deal with scandals.
Yes.
That's the word offended. It comes from the word scandalon or scandalizo, which we get our English word scandal. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
And so when people are offended, they become a scandalon. When they turn into a scandalon, what they do becomes scandalizo. Or they carry on the action of scandalizo. But first they become scandalon. They become offended.
Wow.
So Jesus is saying all of y'all tonight are about to become scandalons.
Yes.
Now when we start looking at everybody, Apostle Henderson, Prophet Brown, we start looking at everybody in ministry and understanding that they have the potential